Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun.
Welcome back to Stealing Home, the most unserious baseball show on the planet, hosted by the best brother-sister duo in baseball. We got our new hats today. Lisa just worked hard all day working on a new video this Friday on RSNs and blackouts for MLB TV. So she said she's a wee bit tired, but I think how you doing, Lisa? You're all in there?
Yeah, it was a weekend project. It's over, but I'm happy that it's put together, and we'll see. I am excited to see what people think of it and let us know. It's all about blackouts and how RSNs work, so
yeah.
I don't know. Riveting stuff.
Well, we got our new hats. She got the Brewers hat. I said...
The hats are the most exciting thing, if you can see.
Yeah, it's
super cool.
It's nice.
I was blessed by my brother, so
you got the Kegman logo. I got a Royals spring training hat because I'm all on the Royals bandwagon this year. Check. Can you see it?
No, I think you should move a little
good.
closer.
I was watching the video the whole time. You liar! Look at her. She's trying to bamboozle me on our show. All right. Yeah, well, baseball happened last week.
It normally does at this time of year.
There's only 1 week in baseball where baseball really doesn't happen, and it still happens. I'm talking about the All-Star break that week. But let's look at the midweek recap. If you got that. A lot happened. A lot of series ended up tying with
I've got a very serious question for you.
Go ahead.
And we can talk about it when we get back to the weekend. But what is going on with the Rays?
Let's talk about that when we get there. I know the weekend was bad. We'll just talk about that when we get there. But yeah, the Tigers beat the Rays. Braves are being the Atlanta Braves. They sweep the crap out of the Marlins. I don't even know if they sweep the crap out of them. They just sweep them. I don't know if you can sweep the crap out of somebody. But a lot of series tied. The Angels, I think there were 3 teams that are underdogs that I was kind of rooting for this year. One of those is the Royals. One of those was the Pirates, and then the other one was the Angels. Out of those 3, the Angels, I really wanted to be good too, but I just feel like they aren't, and they're kind of proving it. They lose to the Orioles, but the Orioles are a good team. The Sox get swept by the Twins, who are on a 7-game win streak. The Giants beat the Mets. A lot of ties. Oakland tying with New York. You want to talk about the Rays? Let's talk about the Yankees. The Astros getting swept by the Cubs, and I think the Cubs are for real. Right? I think they're for real. Anything midweek?
There's just so many other teams right now for me to pay attention to that the Cubs are going to have to do a little bit more. But that could just be my oversight.
It's got to be your oversight.
With the Angels, we don't need to explore this today, but at some point I want to dive into the question, like, can Mike Trout be one of the best baseball players ever if he's on the worst team? Or on a bad team, generally speaking. I
say off the cusp, yes. Without diving deeper into that conversation, yes, you can be the best player. Off the cusp?
Okay.
Off the cusp? I don't know.
Okay.
I get sayings almost right. I don't get them all the way right. All right. And the Dodgers, we talked about the Dodgers, how they were kind of starting off slow, and they swept the Nationals, which they lost the series to the Nationals earlier. Let's look at the weekend series, and this is what you're talking about with the Rays. The Rays lose to Detroit, and then they get swept by a 3-22. 3-22
by the White Sox, which last week we talked about. Okay, it's been an ongoing joke with the A's and the White Sox for us that look, you're gonna win at least 60 games. You're gonna win at some point.
Throw the Rockies in there too.
Right, true. But to win it a whole series, to sweep the Rays, I didn't see that coming.
Look, absolute low point from me as a Rays fan. We lose to Detroit, which I feel better about because Detroit went and beat the Royals. They just beat the Royals.
Detroit isn't ass though. Detroit.
No, I know. They're not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad.
But they're still historically in the last few years, they're Detroit. You're supposed to beat Detroit. Then we play the White Sox, who are 3-22.
See, that one's just unforgivable.
And we get boat raced, swept. So half of their wins now, the White Sox, are against the Rays, which
Rays
totally blows. Now, you mentioned Oakland, too. I did want to point out that Oakland did beat the Orioles, and they're actually not that bad.
I'm actually kind of happy for them. There's just so much going on in Oakland right now that at least they're not also crapping the bed at the same time. But Yeah, how does this make you feel as a Rays fan?
I don't care. It's,
Really?
no, it's like I'm an optimistic fan, so I'm like, we might be good. We might be
Okay.
good. And then honestly, getting swept by the White Sox isn't the end of your season, but you are like, damn, this is not a good team right now. Which you knew. It's just affirming that, yeah, it's not a good team right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke though. I mean, I almost feel bad for the White Sox, but at the same time, I think it's good that I love consistency in a group, and I think it's great that they're at least consistent in being bad. And I think it's kind of a joke to be swept by the White Sox. Like I feel like that was news. We even had a couple texts come through of that. Like that was one of the first things I told you when I saw you. I've heard people say it like it is kind of a joke.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
It's
But
bad.
I'd say as low as you are as a Rays fan, at least we just got new City Connects, which we'll look at later too, which maybe that's like, it's going to shoot us straight up and we're back, you know? And it's also a very Rays thing to do to get swept by the White Sox and then just go on like a 20-game winning streak right after. But that's not going to happen with this team. I don't
Okay.
think the Rays are good. But yeah, Yankees beat the Brewers. Cardinals beat the Mets.
And what a good series that was. I mean, that was interesting. Yankees ended up winning against the Brewers. It was very hard for me allegiance wise. I felt a lot of different ways about it, but high scoring games too.
I was gonna
Like a
say,
lot of runs were put up.
you're really leaning into that Brewers fandom.
I can't help it. I don't know what it is. It's Milwaukee calls me, I guess.
It's the hat. It's the hat.
It's their all their stuff looks so good. I
The
can't help it.
Astros, who you said were dead, swept the Rockies. The Red Sox
Okay.
also beat. It was a 2-game series in Mexico, by the way, and the Red Sox also beat the Cubs. Let's anything here you want to talk about? The Twins again
I'm
sweeping the
just gonna
Angels.
say this is, I guess, maybe my Stephen A take. The Astros sweeping the Rockies does not to me mean that my previous analysis doesn't stand because I think at this point maybe a high school team could beat the White Sox even if like the Rays couldn't. That says more about the Rays than it does the White Sox. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And it's also the Rockies. Well, they played in Mexico City,
Right.
in the Mexico series where they travel, you know, like they did for Seoul, South Korea. And,
Yeah.
you know, if you're a Rockies fan and you think that every time you watch the Rockies, they're losing, it's actually because they are. I was watching the highlights of one of the games, and one of the announcers brought up how the Rockies have trailed in every single one of their games this year. So in all 28 games, they've been losing at some point. They didn't lose all of those games, but they have been losing at some point of those games, which is actually pretty hard to do. I'm not going to lie. Just imagine if you guys weren't losing in one of your games. Like you'd be winning it. You'd have a lot more wins.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe there are teams that are just come from behind teams.
Yeah. And watch out for the Astros. Maybe this brings them out of the grave. They're not, you know, maybe they were dead and like a zombie hand coming out of a wall. The Astros combined 20 runs in 2 games, beat them combined 20-6. Maybe the Astros are back in the West.
We'll see.
We're a month in to the season, so I said, you know what, let's look at the divisions. Let's do a little divisional check. Look at all the divisions, see where we're standing, and, you know, 1 month in, kind of reevaluate what we're looking at here. So let's go ahead and look at the American League East. We got the Yankees leading the division, 1 game above the Orioles. Then the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and Rays. Pretty good division. A lot of teams are near 500. Anything that kind of sticks out to you here?
Yeah, I guess not. I guess the surprise is more that the Yankees are actually still leading the division. Like, I think at a certain point I expected them to not be doing that. But honestly, other than the Yankees actually still leading the division, I think the Rays being at the very bottom is surprising. I would have probably thought that the Red Sox would be there this year. But honestly, no. I mean, in this division, we've talked about it before. I feel like in the AL East, it can always go. It's a toss-up, right? Like all these teams are pretty consistently good. So
Yeah, I'll say 3 things. 1, the Yankees still being there. I think you give them a month, like 1 month. 1 month is too early
Another
for them to
month?
collapse. Yeah, 1 month. April, end of April is too early for the Yankee collapse. It's gonna happen a little later.
Okay.
I think it'll happen. It'll happen if it does happen.
See, I thought it was gonna happen early, and then it was gonna be sustained, and
No.
we'd be like, oh my god, there's never gonna be hope again.
Two things. Kind of rooting for the Red Sox because I want that Netflix documentary to be really interesting at the end of the year. The Baseball Hard Knocks. So, at least be kind of close to the playoffs. Who knows?
No.
The third thing.
No.
Are you ready to declare any teams dead? The Rays just got
Rays
swept.
are probably dead.
Well, I don't want any probablys on this one. I wanted a nail in the coffin, and like you said last week, throwing dirt in the grave. The Rays are 3-7 in their last 10. Are you ready to declare them dead? Are the Blue Jays dead? Any of these teams where you're like not a chance anymore?
No, I mean, if they were lower percentage-wise, I would probably be declaring them dead. Like if I see a 300, 200, we're probably gonna have to.
Well, yeah.
Start calling the EMT,
especially in the AL East.
Yeah, exactly. But no. I mean, the Rays very, very so close to 500. I'm not really that worried about them. Like you said, they're a weird team. They kind of bounce back at weird times. So I'm not prepared to throw any of these teams out to sea just yet.
I'm the same way. Initially, I looked at this. I said I wanted to make. I'm pretty sure this is a 2-team race in this division between the Yankees and the Orioles. But then the longer I look at it, it's still a scrambled mess, and it's too early to call because any of these teams can get hot. Like any of these teams could get hot. I think the one that's least likely to get hot out of these 5 is probably the Blue Jays. Just because.
Oh, I think it's. No, you're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right.
Like the Red Sox can get hot. They are kind of sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just but they can get hot. But the Blue Jays, I just don't think they can get hot. Let's go and look at the American League Central, which is a division that I feel like we all were kind of meh on, at first.
Well, Brett was really into the Guardians, and you've really been on the Royals train. So I guess you guys were right is what this comes down to. Yeah,
I mean, we're both kind of right there when it comes to Guardians and Royals and the Tigers. I am, like I said, I'm bandwagoning that Royals ball club. They're really good. And don't sleep on the Twins either, because they're below the Tigers right now, but the Twins are on a 7-game win streak right now, thanks to their sausage, which I'll explain later. Kind of weird.
Okay.
But
kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Every team to pronounce dead is as of April. I think we can pronounce the White Sox dead.
Yeah, I don't know that they ever were alive this season. I'm not sure that they actually.
They were dead from the start.
Yeah, because this is it's pretty bad. 6-22.
Yeah, they were 3-22 before they swept the Rays. I want to say, you know what the Rays probably did? That was selfless by them. They could have beat the White Sox, and they probably lost on purpose, just to. I think they did. They just couldn't bear seeing another team be that bad. So shout out to the Rays for doing that to the
I'm
White
not
Sox.
I'm not even gonna respond to that.
Yeah.
Do we want to hit the AL West?
Yeah. After this, I just want to say the American League East is not bad. The AL Central, I think, might be. I honestly think this might be one of the better divisions in the American. This is the best division in the American League right now, in my opinion. I'll go out and say that. That is a what? But are you talking about because they have one of the better teams? No, I'm talking about their top 4 right now are more competitive than any other division. No, and I'll say that with the American League East. No way. No. I think the AL East is right there with them, but it's the Central because their top teams are better than the East top teams, in my opinion. Are you saying any other? You're saying in the American League, right? You're not even comparing it. Yeah. American League. Even still, I cannot agree with you on that. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just an AL East homer. I don't know what it is, but... Well, let's look at it, right? Let's look at it. Yeah, so, that's wild. You got the Guardians and the Yankees. Sure. I like the Guardians there. You just said yourself you don't have faith in the Yankees staying hot. Yeah, you're right. I don't. But I think it just depends on the day. It could be that the Yankees
sweep the Guardians, I would also believe if the Guardians swept the Yankees. Like, that's a 50-50 toss-up to me.
Yeah, but I'm saying in totality after 162, I like the Guardians over the Yankees. Now let's look at the Orioles. The Orioles are probably the best team in both of these divisions. So, but you mean to tell me that the Orioles or the Royals and the Guardians wouldn't be able to compete with the Orioles? I think they would.
Well,
in a playoff series, I like the Royals.
If we're just going like 2 for 2, like if we're just looking at second place right now in this moment, then Orioles versus Royals, yeah, I'm picking the Orioles.
That's a good matchup, though, because that's a really good matchup.
I'm not saying they're not good matchups, but I'm saying that, yeah, if I have to pick one, I'm still picking the AL East over Central.
I gotta look back, and I might be an idiot, but I think the Royals went into Camden Yards and beat the Orioles earlier this year.
Actually, I'll give you this because you know what? If we were to go play spot for spot right now down the division, the Rays do end up playing the White Sox, and look, they got swept. So maybe you're right. Maybe you make a good point.
Yeah, I'm also might be dumb. Now I'm looking. I don't know. Either way, the Central, I think we heavily underestimated the Central, and they're not that bad. Let's look at the West and talk about underachieving. What's the word I'm looking for? Underwhelming.
Underwhelming. Yes. So am I? Sorry, I don't want to mess up your flow, but I mean something stands out to me here.
Yeah, the Mariners are winning. They're leading the division.
Yeah. 2 things stand out to me here.
Yeah, the Astros 9-19.
Actually 3, because I would not have put the Mariners on top. I would not have even put Oakland that high, and I would not have put the Astros that low.
What is going on in the West? Yeah, I don't know. You would expect the Astros record to be flip-flopped and they'd be 19-9, but they just won 2 games in Mexico. Are they?
Is this updated for today though? This is right because the White Sox were updated. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is updated. They won 2 games in Mexico. They're 9-19. Are they hot? Are you ready to put the nail in their coffin? I know you've done it like the last 3 weeks, and you're saying it's still there. Yeah, you shoveled them. They're dead. They're dead in your eyes.
I don't know what I'm gonna need to see to believe that there's a pulse and like dig back up the coffin. But at this point, like,
I don't think Look, I'll say this. I don't think they're not dead yet, and the only reason why they're not dead is because they're in this division where the first place team is 2 games above 500. That's the only reason why they're not dead yet. If they were in other 2 divisions with that record, it's tough because you're digging yourself a hole. But in this
that's the concern at this point, right? Is that you're 9-19, so you've got a lot of you do have some making up to do. And we're not talking about like the White Sox being 9-19. We're not talking about any of the teams in the AL East. We're talking about the Houston Astros. Like, that's just not what you would expect.
Yeah, but they're in a division that's weak, so they can come. If they do make a comeback, they're more likely to do it in this division. That's why I'm not going to pronounce them dead. Now, unfortunately, the team I will pronounce dead is the Los Angeles Angels. I think they're done. They're dead. Ron Washington, man, I'm sorry, dude. I was rooting for you with the Angels, but I'm just looking at it. They're 1-9 in their last 10 games, and they're on a 4-game losing streak right now. And they're losing to teams that if you're gonna be good, you need to beat, in my opinion. Like the Twins, they got swept by or something, you know. Like,
yeah.
I think the only reason why I'm not putting a nail in the coffin for the Astros is because of their track record, and the reason I'm doing it for the Angels is because of their track record. I just don't think that they're gonna get hot as much as I want them to.
Yeah, I think both of those things are fair. I'm not going to say I see that perspective. I already, at this point, I have staged the funeral for the Astros. We have buried them. They are now interred into the ground. There's that little bell that they used to put back in like the 1700s in case like they're not actually dead.
To his wrist.
If they ring it, I will go and dig them up. I can admit when I'm wrong. But at this point, I just don't think this is their year.
Who's going to finish with a higher record, the Astros or the Athletics? The Astros.
It might be the A's.
No, I say the Astros.
It probably will be the Astros. It probably will be the Astros. But if you'd said the Angels, I like definitely the Angels, but I don't know, man. This is like not a good start.
It would be interesting though if the A's ended up higher than the Astros. I think the wild cards, there's going to be a wild card team out of the Central, which I don't think we had.
So
At least
yeah,
right now, it
let's
looks like
actually we can talk about it. So with the leaders being the Guardians, the Yankees, and the Mariners at this point, 1 month in, the top positions, I'll just read off like the first four because it looks like, yeah, three or four would be the Orioles, the Royals, the Tigers, or the Red Sox. So I mean, I could very easily see this. I mean, again, we're a month in.
I could see 2 teams coming out of the Central, which is like we underestimated that division. And I think someone on one of their teams, I forget, was talking about how they think they might have one of the better divisions in baseball. And I'm starting to drink their Kool-Aid because I think that division. Look at their teams; they got good teams.
They have some good teams. They have, a division is not. We have the hardest division doesn't mean you have 3 really good teams and 2 so-so teams. We have the hardest division means you have 5 consistently good teams.
Well, that's a lot. Maybe 3 or 4, not 5. There's no division that has 5 good teams.
I would say the AL East has 5 generally good teams.
Generally. Now you just changed it from generally to really good, from really good to generally.
Consistently. They are consistently good. Okay. Like you look at any of the last 10 years and some of these teams have been in postseason play. Like that's what I'm talking about.
Fair point.
And you look at the AL Central and I'm sorry. That's cute that we want to make this argument. I'm rooting for you guys to do better. I'm definitely cool with the Guardians and the Royals being in contention for this. Obviously, the Twins made it last year, right? But didn't the Twins make it with like 80 wins or something stupid?
Hey, so did the Diamondbacks.
That's fair. But Diamondbacks, a legacy of like actually being better than the Twins. No. That's my whole point, though.
All right, let's move on to the NL East. Let's see here. Now, shocker, the Braves are leading the division, which is like, yeah, knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But the Phillies, they're usually like where the Mets are in terms of record. I feel like they get off to a slower start, and like they play the regular season kind of slow and then get hot in the playoffs. But they're hot right now. They have one of the better records in baseball. The Mets got really hot, like we talked about last week, and now they kind of cooled off. They're like 5-5, I think, in their last 10. Miami.
What do you think?
6-game losing streak for Miami. They are the worst team, worse than the Nationals, which is surprisingly, like, it's just surprising to me that the Nationals are better than the Marlins.
Yeah, I'm not, like, I think this is very, of all the ones we've seen so far, this was very predictable. The Marlins, between the Marlins and the Nationals, I think there's a chance that the Marlins will still have a better record at the end of the year than the Nationals do. Like that could flip-flop. But
I don't think that will, though. Do you think that'll happen? Who's going to finish with the higher record? Marlins?
I do. Yeah, I think so. That'll probably happen.
I think the Nationals are going to be better than the Marlins. I think the Marlins just got that stink on them, that loser stink.
I just can't see that. But what do you think? I feel like I haven't been talking or hearing so much about the Braves in the last month or so.
Right?
Why do you think that is?
Just because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, I'm assuming. Like, I agree with you. I haven't heard that much about the Braves as you hear about the Yankees or the Cubs.
Shit, I've heard about that. I mean, I guess because the Astros aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. But the Braves, I mean, they're just going out there and winning baseball games and winning series like they usually do.
Do they have the best record right now?
Maybe. I don't know. But they're 8-2 in their last 10, and so are the Phillies. The Phillies are right behind them too. So I think if you want to say something's a 2-team race, it's at least a 3-team race, which we knew that was going to be before the season even started. But it's really kind of 2-team as of now, but I wouldn't doubt the Mets. I wouldn't doubt the Mets getting hot. I mean, they're still real close behind. It's early.
I guess. Let me know what Frank says. I'm calling it a 2-team race at this point.
I'm gonna go ahead and declare the Marlins officially dead, and the Nationals I'm skeptical of, but they're not dead yet. I'll give them the light of day. They're not dead yet. I won't call them dead, but the Marlins are dead. Yeah. Sell your season tickets.
The Marlins might have died a premature death, but I don't think the Nationals are too far away.
I'm upset with the Marlins. I thought they were going to be better. All right, let's move on to the National League Central.
Too.
Your team, the Brewers.
The Brewers.
They're leading that
doing
division.
Great.
Now,
we love to see it.
The Chicago Cubs, with the Brewers' old manager, Craig Counsell, they're in second place right behind the Brewers. And then there's the Reds and the Pirates, which are letting me down, man. They're 3-7 in their last 10, so they got off to a really hot start, and then they kind of cooled off. It's kind of sad to see there. I'd like to see the Pirates. And then the Cardinals, who are historically good, kind of hovering around 500, trying to get
This is
over
where
500.
I would want to see the AL Central be if we want to start talking about them being the best division.
The AL Central is way better than the NL Central. You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
All right, well, which one of these teams do you think is the best team in the division for the Central? The Cubs or the Brewers? I think are the two choices. I like the Cubs. I like the Cubs.
I'm gonna go with the Brewers. Obviously, I'm wearing a Brewer hat today, so I have to.
I think that are those two teams better than the Royals and the Guardians?
And the Royals?
Yeah.
The Guardians might be better, but I think either of those two teams could beat the Royals.
I think
so. It's kind of a toss-up. But when I'm looking at the best.
Let's look at the bottom half.
Just so I think we're looking at it. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Let's
I think
look at
we're
the bottom
looking at
half. So you got the
Twins.
Cardinals
are better than the White Sox.
Okay, yeah, that's yes.
And
the White
Cardinals
Sox
and the
are
Pirates
trash.
The Cardinals and the Pirates are probably better than the Twins too.
The Twins have a 7-game winning streak right now, and they're kicking butt. So I don't think anyone's better than the Twins right now. The Twins are better than the Reds and the Pirates, and the Tigers are sneaky good. And could the Reds
beat? I was gonna say, could the Reds beat the Tigers though? Yeah, probably.
Look, I'm had it up to here with your American League Central hate. I'm not taking it anymore.
It's not hate. I just don't like this idea that there's somehow like, oops, I don't know if I messed up my mic, but I don't know. I don't like this idea that there's somehow like this super strong Avengers squad. Like you still have the White Sox.
If that's what I'm making it sound like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the strongest division. No, you're not.
You ever see the picture?
You're barely alive.
You ever see the picture of those dragons? It's like the 3-headed dragon, and like the 2 heads are really scary, and there's just 1 head that's really derpy.
Yeah,
that's the White Sox in that division.
That's it. That's the Central, AL Central.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, I like the NL Central. Good teams.
Are the Reds or the Pirates gonna get back? To contending with the top 2 teams here. It's still early. We're a month in. They're not that far behind.
It's early.
They are not far behind.
It's early, but I'm making it my personality that I'm just going to make audacious claims. And so, no, I think this is a 2-team race. I could see the Cubs and the Brewers flip-flopping back and forth for the rest of the season. The Pirates and the Reds might get hot at some point, but I don't see them ending higher than 3.
I'll be honest. Even the Cardinals aren't that far behind either. But, yeah, I don't. I
just don't see it.
It's tough for me to tell. I think there's going to be some wild card teams out of this, at least one.
The Brewers have been consistently good. The Cubs are doing well too.
I think the Cubs are winning this division.
You think you do?
Yeah.
I really want to see the Brewers do it, just because
I'm
a Brewers girly now.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the West, National League West.
But also, can I tell you something else? Like before we get to the NL West, I'm sure you pulled it up already. And I'm slow.
I'll go back.
Is like the thing is, I think because I grew up watching the AL East, and because obviously, other than your division, you also just pay attention to what's nationally being talked about. There's a lot of teams that I never really paid attention to. And so I'm actually getting excited to see a team like the Brewers, which I think is I'm trying to understand why all of a sudden I'm a Brewers fan. I think it's fueling my desire to be a Brewers fan, because it's like, I know they were good in the past. I've never really heard anything about them in the last 15 years, I feel like. So
they've been relevant. They've been good. Like within the last 15,
like to me.
Well, they just don't get a lot of publicity because they're in Milwaukee.
That's what I want. I want to see some of these teams get some more love. I think a team like the Brewers deserves it.
Well, you're giving them a lot of love.
Well, their marketing is so good. Okay, what's next?
The National League West is next. So let's go ahead and look at that. We called out the Dodgers for being kind of underwhelming. And
I'll be honest. Remember when I said like I can admit when I'm wrong?
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong on the Dodgers here. Like, I think the Dodgers are still doing really well.
What did you say? What did you mean? How are you wrong?
I thought I said that they I thought at one point I said that they might not win this
You
division.
did say that. No, you said it would be funny if Otani went to the Dodgers and they missed the playoffs. And then I think you were kind of rooting for
Yeah.
that.
I am somewhat rooting that for the plot because I am a
That's
toxic
messed up by
person at
you.
times.
Yeah, you're like the Joker in
But
Batman. You just love chaos.
just want to watch it burn. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is pretty much how it's gonna be. I don't see any shakeup happening here. I know we're a month
Uh,
in, but
it might be a fight for a wild card team. Yeah, the Dodgers are probably going to run away with this. The question is who's going to lead other than the Dodgers, and we're not talking about the Rockies. Out of the three teams, the Giants, Padres, and Diamondbacks, which ones are those teams are going to fight for that wild card spot? That's
yeah, I
really
mean,
what it comes down to.
right now in the card spot, like none of these teams are actually there. But I don't. That doesn't change.
No, it's early. It's way too early for a wild card. But
It doesn't change my thinking that at least one of them is gonna end up there for sure in the race.
yeah, and I want to say the Padres, but the Padres are 3-7 in their last 10, and they're on a 4-game losing streak right now. So they pissed me off. It's like, can we play? Good teams are consistent, and I don't know. Even when they're in a lull, they're like playing around 500 baseball. The Dodgers were around 500, and now it seems like they've kicked it into high gear. The Rockies are also 3-7 in their last 10.
I said it when I was
suck.
talking about the Yankees. Like, it's not enough to just have star players. Like, you also need to have an organization that is strong too, right? And I think that's been a struggle for the Yankees. They've had maybe good players, but they haven't had a strong organization, strong culture, you could say. And I think that in some of these teams where the stink is just on them, I mean, you can have some of the best players, or you can build a roster that's really strong, like the Padres tried to do this season. But if
They
there's something fishy going on,
I
I mean,
don't
who
know.
knows? Like, what's to say?
Dude, they built a super team low key out there, and then they made the playoffs, and they made it to like 1 or 2 games away from making a World Series appearance. So it wasn't like they just had that stink on them. For some reason,
Okay.
last year it started where they should have been a good team, but for whatever reason they just weren't winning a lot. And that started last year, and I hope you don't see that continue this year. But it's kind of looking like 1 month in that it's continuing. But
Yeah.
who knows? That's kind of whatever. But those
We'll have to
those are
wait
the
and see.
divisions.
Any big like thoughts or surprises from you as like now that we've gone through all the divisions?
Nah, like I said, you need definitive stuff, and it's so hard to do 1 month in. So like, I will say, looking at that West Division though, I will say that the Rockies, I'll put a nail in them. They're dead. They're done. Like we knew that. We knew that like a week in.
Rockies, Marlins, White Sox, Astros.
I did not put them.
I've got my coffins
I was
ready.
gonna say I didn't do that to the Astros. I said Rockies. No one in the Central for the National League. Marlins for sure are done. I said the Angels are done, and the White
Oh yeah,
Sox are
true.
done, and no one in
Yeah,
the
Angels
East.
are done.
Yeah,
So do you think Mike Trout wants to leave after this year?
I don't think Mike Trout cares.
I don't think so either, right? Like
I
he
don't
he
think he
can't.
cares. Yeah, I don't
He
think he cares.
can't at this point.
I think he's making a bunch of money and he doesn't care where he goes.
Damn. Would you care?
I don't know what I would do if I had that kind of money. I might not care, to be honest. Who knows?
I think
Look,
I don't know. And I said it before, but can you be the best if you never have a ring? Like that's
I would not want to leave. I'd want to win there. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree.
I would try my hardest
Yeah.
to turn it around because I wouldn't want to leave and win somewhere else. I'd want to win there. So,
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
yeah. Well, I think it's time for our favorite part of the show.
It's time for
Yeah.
fair or foul.
Yep. And we talked about the Rays being in their low point, and they just got their Rays City Connect. So, honestly, for a team that doesn't have a lot of, like Tampa Bay is not a city, guys. I just want to point that out. But, they play in
Very-
St. Pete. I wish they played in Tampa. They come out with these Tampa Bay City Connect, which is cool. Lisa, what do you think? Fair or foul on these jerseys?
No, they're fair. I mean, so I'll say this. I don't know how I feel about graffiti because that, is not great for cities. I think we should be
Vandalism.
respectful. Yeah, I'm not for vandalism. I just want to be clear about that. And I did think that was a weird thing to do. And also, and skate culture doesn't have to be graffiti, but whatever. No, I mean, I like it. I like what they did here. I really like the what'd you call it? The Sky Ray.
The Sky Ray. Yeah.
Is really cool. People might not know this, but yeah, Tampa has like a very rich skate culture. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I like that it's also the retro colors, like they brought that back. So yeah, no complaints from me, no real style notes. I like it.
Yeah. So you say fair. I'm gonna say fair too. This is actually, I think, one of the better City Connect uniforms that they've came out with. I
wouldn't go that far.
I would. I think it's really cool. I think the gradient on the uniform, like that kind of texture that they have, kind of like a skateboard, is pretty sweet. The only thing I think might be amiss is where it has Tampa Bay on the front. It's like a hot rod flame. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, maybe make it like water waves, maybe. I don't know. But the skateboard, Manta Ray holding the skateboard is pretty sweet doing a kickflip. On that one,
cute.
You see the Sunshine Skyway Bridge turn into a Manta Ray, so it's the Sky Ray Bridge. And then, yeah, the colors coming back is pretty cool. And it was weird. Like, what could you do with Tampa Bay? You could do Cigar City, but that's Ybor City, and that's Tampa. That's not where they play. They play in St. Pete. You could do something St. Pete themed, but that's not really Tampa, and a lot of their fan base is in Tampa, so you'd kind of alienate that side. So I think you did have to go with something regional with the Tampa Bay. Even though it's not a city, you had to go with the region there. But I guess is the skateboard culture more so Tampa, or is it also St. Pete? I guess they have a park in St. Pete too, because I know we have the Tampa, what is it, skate park of Tampa, which is huge, and they've been. It's like I didn't realize this growing up, but yeah, Tampa's like a historical city for skateboarding. Like I said, Tony Hawk's like Skater 2 or whatever. Like you can play like GTA style in the city, and we had that bowl like near downtown, the bowl or the fish bowl, whatever it's called, that skate park. I think it might have been like the first public skate park or something. So
yeah. I don't know, I guess, if St. Pete was like, but I have to assume, I guess it was. If like Tampa was, why wouldn't St. Pete? I don't know, but that's, all you're doing when you do stuff like this, all you do is highlight the issue that the Rays have generally in this region. And so, yeah, win for the jerseys, like win on the style and on the design. I think that's great. But overall loss in the sense that, again, we're just highlighting the fact that this team doesn't have really anything strong in its area.
Let me go back to this too. Do you see the picture of Josh Lowe holding that skateboard?
Yeah.
Does he look like he knows how to skate? Do you think he knows how to skateboard?
Absolutely not.
He's holding it like he doesn't know what he's doing with it.
He's holding that like someone who's never seen a skateboard in his life, and he was handed it, and he was like, so is this like a bat? Is that how they use it?
I was going to say, look, he's holding it like it's a bat. Like he probably has no idea. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe he doesn't know how to skateboard. What's the definition on knowing how to skateboard, too? Do you have to be able to do a kickflip in order to know how to skateboard, or you just go straight line in order to say you know how to do it?
This is coming from someone who's been on a longboard only a few times in my life, so take that for what it's worth. I think in order to be like a skateboarder, yes, you have to be able to do like at least a basic. I don't know if like there's another basic one that people would know, some sort of axle or some shit.
Axle.
Yeah. I don't know. You have to do what you have to be able to do one little trick, and then you're a skateboarder. Okay. But if you're just like zooming around on the campus on your longboard, that does not count.
Well, I say fair.
Speaking as that girl.
That's fair. This jersey's fair. I think it's one of the better ones. The jersey is fair. I think it's one of the better ones.
The larger issue around the Rays that continues.
Yeah. Stop being negative about my team. The Brewers suck and the Yankees suck too. You stink. The jerseys are fire. You're trying to bring up bad stuff. The jerseys are sweet. Let's have a W when we get one, okay? We just got swept by the White Sox. Let us have our moment. Okay. Shut up. All right.
Okay, fine. I'm not
Shut
bringing
up.
I'm not bringing it up to be negative. I'm just bringing it up because we're analyzing it.
No.
And so this is my analysis.
No, let us have our win, okay? We just got swept by the White Sox. You're trying to bring
it up another day.
Yeah, ghosts over here. I hate you. All right. The other one, the Twins home run sausage. The Twins have started to win 7 games because someone in their dugout brought a sausage with them to the ballpark, didn't want to eat it, and left it in their locker. And then I don't know how, but it turned into kind of like a rallying cry for them, and that's their rally sausage. And whenever they get a hit, the player will throw it at them, or they party with it. It's their sausage. So it's a community meat. So, and that picture is Rocco Baldelli trying to describe it to the press. What's going on with the home run sausage?
Oh yeah, he and I have the same face right now.
Fair or foul, Lisa? Fair or foul?
Look, I'm all for like teams doing weird shit and having weird shit that I don't understand because it's an inside joke and you're together all the time and whatever. I draw the line when that weird shit involves perishable food items. No, this is foul. And you know what else is foul? Probably the smell emanating from that weird sausage that they've been throwing back and forth. That's disgusting.
So, well, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say also, like, just a sausage? Yeah.
Look, one, there's so many things that you need to ask about this, right? Like, one, are they freezing the sausage?
They're not. There's
they
no
might
way.
be. Well, look at that one picture.
I mean, look at it. Look at that picture of it, like just in the dugout. It's like
that looks. That looks frozen to me.
No, I see the perspiration. Like
yeah, but that's because it's melting. Because it's frozen. I think it's frozen. So I'm just saying, there's multiple questions, right? Like question 1, are they freezing the sausage? Question 2, is it hot? Is it a hot sausage?
I wanted to know that too. That was one of my questions, actually.
Question 3. Why is a player just bringing a sausage with them to the baseball park? Like, Twins, are you not feeding the players there? Like, do you not have...
Not one of my questions.
Do you not
have
have
one of my
there?
questions. One of my...
I say it's fair, though. I like this a lot. I say keep it going. If you can make this sausage last 162 days, if you can make this sausage last the days of summer out in Minnesota, keep it going. And if this sausage goes down, you get another one. You go out and get another sausage to replace this sausage. Like the Bulldog at Georgia, when the Bulldog dies, they just put a Roman numeral at the back of it. You do the same thing with this sausage, and you keep it going. Because since they've had it, they've won 7 games. And this is fair as hell. I don't even care what it is, as long as you're winning. That's what Rocco Baldelli said. So I say this is fair. Any last thoughts?
No.
Okay. Let's move on. Colton Cowser for the Baltimore Orioles has a nickname. He's Colton Cowser, so naturally his nickname is the Milkman. It's starting to blow up. You're seeing fans dress up as milkmen in the crowd. Someone's making jerseys and putting like little black spots on it to make it look like a cow, and they're also bringing posters like Bowser Cowser. Colton Cowser,
yeah,
which is his
funny.
last name. Fair or foul, especially when he comes up to hit, they all start mooing. So, what do you think about this one?
Fair. No, that's fair. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like this too. This is pretty fair. And I really want to know, does Colton Cowser have any beef with the Twins using sausage? Like, is he part cow? Does he have any family that's cow? Does he get offended?
What I want to know is he lactose intolerant? Because that seems important for some reason with this. Like I am, and I wouldn't like to see milk all the time like that.
How do you know if you're lactose intolerant? Do you go to the doctor and get that diagnosed? Do you get that diagnosed, or is it just like a self-diagnosis a few hours later after drinking milk?
Yeah, I think you end up with like a thing where you're like, oh, every time I have dairy products, I am now in hell. But when I don't eat them, I'm fine. I wonder what it could be.
That's so cap. I've seen you eat ice cream before. So lactose intolerant people do not eat ice cream. I just caught my sister, everybody, trying to clout chase and try to gain clout for having a medical disability. Lactose intolerance.
We're not going to get further into this today. We can talk about this later.
Is that because of HIPAA violation? You don't want to disclose your medical?
Yeah, exactly. I'm only going to put out so much information about me out there. But no, I mean, this is fine. This is fair. I like it. I like anything the fans can get involved with. I like seeing these guys dressed up as milkmen. I mean, I've always wondered about those people that like get dressed up for stuff like this. Like one time, tangent, I went to a Pitbull concert. Pitbull, like the artist.
Yeah.
And
Dale, Mr. Worldwide. I know Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. 305. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't know this, but it was also like senior night for a local high school. And
all the girls dressed up like Pitbull, I'm assuming.
Yes. And I'm not on TikTok like that. So I didn't know. I mean, I'm not on TikTok really at all. I didn't know, I guess this was some sort of trend. And so like, I always wonder about the people who show up to these things like so dressed. Like, partly it's very funny, but also partly like you had to go buy a bald cap. You had to go buy a man's, shirt. And for these guys, where did you find this milkman
Maybe they are
costume? I have
milkmen.
questions.
Maybe they are
Could be.
milkmen. Maybe this is like a community of milkmen that have been waiting for their
Maybe.
time to come back because they've been out of work really. Like no one has a milkman anymore. So maybe there's just a bunch of milkmen laying around waiting for a reason to get up and be happy. Colton Cowser's doing it for them.
Maybe this is just like this is a psyop from Big Milk, and they're
From
just
Nut
trying
Milk.
to get us.
Nut Milk is trying to feminize the
No.
American youth.
No, Cow Milk is trying to fight Nut Milk here.
Whole milk is the best.
America's fields.
We gotta stop drinking nut milk. Go and drink whole milk.
Whole milk only.
Whole milk. Colton Cowser, I want to know where you stand. Is it nut milk or whole
Yes.
milk? Where do you stand, Colton
Are you
Cowser?
lactose intolerant?
This
Do
is
you
a call.
Drink milk? We have questions.
Yeah, Colton Cowser, this is a direct call to you. If you see this, do you prefer nut milk or whole milk? We need to know. People need to know. Where do you stand on this issue? All right, not to get political on the show, but the people need to know.
No, but if this is all just like some sort of thing sent from Big Milk, I think we have a right to know. Actually,
Yeah, is this a Big Milk psyop? I don't know. Time will tell.
I think it's a Big Milk psyop. I
Time
guess
will
we'll find
tell.
out.
Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games for next week. Let's get off of the Milkman discussion. I hate it when things get political, so we're gonna move on. Midweek matchups here. Game of the week, midweek. What do you got? Series of the week. I already know. I'll say it if you don't say it. You got 3 seconds. 3, 2.
Hold on. I'm reading.
Yankees at Orioles. The Yankees are playing at
Yeah.
Camden Yard. 4-game series. Top 2 teams in the American League East. Which one of these teams, or this series means more to which one of these teams?
Yankees.
I'd agree.
Actually,
This series means way more to the Yankees because the Orioles been there, done that last year. The Yankees weren't there last year. So in my opinion, even though the Yankees are ahead of the Orioles right now, I think it's the Orioles division until the Yankees prove otherwise, and they have an opportunity to do that this week. 4 games there.
I completely agree with you. I was gonna say the same thing. Like at first, my gut was the Yankees, and then I thought, well, the Orioles really want it too, especially after they put out that documentary. So like they really need to show up this season. But
They might put a
Never
documentary
forget.
out depending on how this series goes.
But yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, the Yankees need to prove themselves this year with this new team. What better way to do it than by beating last year's champ? In the division. So let's get that over with.
Another note: Astros and Guardians. Depending on how that series goes, I might declare the Astros dead because I'm really
But the
banking.
Guardians are good though.
I know.
So like
I know,
I think
I
that
know,
would be.
I know.
I think.
I said
okay,
what I
all
said.
right.
I said what I said.
okay.
Let's look at the weekend matchups here.
Hey, Rays Brewers, by the way, on that midweek matchup. That
Yeah.
might be interesting.
Yes,
Brewers pretty good.
sir. All right, we got series of the weekend. Series of the weekend. What do you got here? I got one in my head.
Let's see. Well, Brewers and Cubs will be a good matchup for us to decide what's going on over there.
I agree. That's the one I'm looking forward to. The 2 top teams in the National League Central. I think they've played already before. I don't remember. They might. I don't know. But yeah.
I think they have to. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Watch them play again. This time,
Angels Guardians, another good one to see how bad the Angels suck.
I already said they're gone. I look, earlier in the year, I'm like, yeah, because I really want them to be good, but no, not anymore. Maybe Rays Mets, but I mean, the Rays just got swept by the White Sox, so that might be personal bias on that one.
I mean, Pirates Rockies. How bad are the Pirates this year? That's how I'm judging all my teams.
No, I think it's Brewers Cubs. That's the go-to marquee matchup here.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at primetime picks. The standings, Lisa. I've now caught up to you. Brett's the only one who's above 500, but he doesn't have as many picks as us, so I think that handicaps him. But we're both 4-7. We're now tied 1 month in. Talk about the divisional. Look at divisions. We're tied. Did you expect this?
I've been saying this. You're gonna have some. Everyone's gonna finish with like a 60 game win, right? More or less. You're gonna get that number. So like,
does that apply to you or me?
It applies to you that you're gonna get at least some of these right. So no, I'm not too worried about
I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna be way better than me. I think you're You're like the Astros right now. I'm the A's. I'm right there. We'll see who wins. All right, let's look at the primetime games for this week, and let's make our picks on Saturday night, 7 p.m. on Fox, not FS1, on Fox, the big network, baby. We got the Mets at the Rays, 7 p.m. Who are you picking to win this game?
Okay, wait. The Rays play who during midweek?
They play the
Brewers. Yeah,
Brewers.
I just said that. Mets.
You got the Mets? Give me the Rays. I'll be a homer. Give me Tampa, baby.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. All right. And then on Sunday at 7 o'clock, you got the Giants at the Phillies. Who's winning that one? Who do you got? Who's your pick? ESPN, prime time. A lot riding on this one because we're tied currently. We just picked.
I know. I'm putting a lot of thought into these this week. Probably the Phillies. Yeah, the Phillies. I'm gonna go with the Phillies.
I was gonna say the same thing. Bryce Harper just came back from having a baby. Well, actually, you know what I mean. He didn't have the baby, but his wife had the baby.
Somebody did.
Someone had a baby, and Bryce Harper's back.
And we hope it's Bryce Harper's.
Yeah. So, hey, come on. But yeah.
Hey, there's a milkman running around.
Yeah. Watch. Oh. Cannot spread rumors that the milkman can't do that.
I don't know.
But yeah.
How do you get that nickname? We need to know.
I got because his name. Yeah. Everyone assumes it's because his last name's Cowser. I'm gonna go with the Phillies. I'm going with the Phillies. That's my pick. And again, here are the standings. We're all knotted up, 4-7. Brett's at 3-2. AI Brett with chiseled AI jawline, and Lisa surprised that she's got the same record as me. All right,
shocked.
That's all I got. Unless you got something to add, that's all I got for today.
No. It's been an interesting month in baseball so far. Some surprises, not that many though.
One month in. Let's do like a little recap. How do we feel about the state of baseball 1 month into the season? I mean, you had ugly ass jerseys. The Astros stink. Ohtani with the Dodgers. I think it's not bad. It could be worse.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So we've had Oakland is moving to Sacramento to play in like a AAA
Forgot
stadium.
About that.
Ohtani almost got pulled by the FBI for a betting scandal. That happened.
Yeah.
There's now a sausage apparently in Minnesota.
You know what? You know what's funny is the Minnesota has that sausage. I wonder if it has anything to do with Byron Buxton, who was on Minnesota, almost getting ran over by a sausage. You remember that?
That did happen.
Maybe they're like some sort of like cannibalism or like,
I'm going to just stop you. We got a Rays City Connect jersey.
You saw where the gears were turning on that.
I was like, we're moving on. We got a Phillies City Connect jersey, which was underwhelming at best.
Rays was better, by the way.
A lot of stuff's a lot has happened in the last month, and yet it feels like we could have probably predicted where this month would have ended.
Cool. Well, if you enjoyed this show, be sure to subscribe. We do it once every week on Monday. And stay tuned for Friday. Lisa's going to be dropping that video she worked on, which is going to be sweet.
Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, do all the things you're supposed to do, and come back on Friday. We'll be talking about broadcasting rights and why baseball's dying, it turns out.
It's not dying.
Yeah.
She's lying.
You
are such a pessimist. You need to get your energy up. Get your energy up.
I just want to clickbait it. I just want to clickbait it a little bit.
You're like the news. Everyone hates the news.
Hey,
negative. The world's ending. All right, guys. See you guys later.
All right, see ya.
Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling different. Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you're doing now is telling differently.